I'm Elamin Abdelmahmoud, and this is Commotion. Okay, so last week, everyone, I'll say including me, thought that the big movie at the box office was going to be The Running Man. I'll tell you why I thought this. First of all, big action movie. Second of all, directed by Edgar Wright. Third of all, Glenn Powell starring. It had a lot of things going for it. But that did not come to pass, because you know what the biggest movie was? It was this.
In the world of magic, everything that disappears reappears. Whew! It is very good to be back.
That is from the trailer to Now You See Me, Now You Don't. It is the third installment of the definitely not critically acclaimed franchise about magicians who do heists. But people love these movies, or at least certain people do. And one of those people is Scaachi Koul. She's here to make sense of this with me. Scaachi, what's up, pal? How's it going?
Hey, buddy. How's it going?
I've never seen you more delighted to talk about a thing than the Now You See Me franchise. And I love that. I love this for all of us.
Magic.
Okay, let's do this, because the numbers are pretty nuts. I think they did like 3 times more than The Running Man did at the box office. And that was a surprise to me. But also, for people who've not spent time in the Now You See Me universe, what is going on in these movies?
Great question. So first of all, the reason why The Running Man didn't do that well is because it's about a guy who doesn't have any money and his teeth are perfect. So that movie does not make any sense. And that is why that movie did not do well.
Thank you for the diagnosis.
It's important. These movies are about a troupe of heist performing magicians who steal riches from private individuals who happen to be billionaires and often redistribute the funds to the cloying audience that is present at the end of every movie when they do the heist. Do these movies make sense? No, but a lot of things don't make sense. You have a national radio show on Canadian broadcast, and yet nobody says anything about that. Nothing matters. Nothing makes any sense. It's a perfect trilogy.
I agree with you. That last part does not make any sense, but I think it makes slightly more sense than, Jesse Eisenberg robbing Michael Caine in a movie and everyone going, yeah, that's a perfectly logical thing to do with these movies. I think the thing that people need to know is that when you watch these movies, I don't think you'd go, oh, I'm watching a good movie. Like, people would come up to me. I love these movies. And people come to me and go, like, that's a bad movie, right? And my response is like, yes, I'm having a good time. Please bother somebody else. What do you say to somebody who says, Scaachi, these movies are kind of objectively bad?
I mean, after I punch them, I readjust my shoulder, and then I say, what is art if not something that could cross over into bad? Yes, these movies are not good. They're not designed to be good. I'm not here to see a good movie. Have you been outside, Elamin? It's pretty bad. So I'm just trying to outrun the end of like the American dream here in Brooklyn. So if I can get a 2-hour and 15-minute movie, which by the way is like really long for even a good movie. Yeah. But if I can pay $22 to go to a theater and, like you said, watch Woody Harrelson perform mentalism tricks on some actor.
A security guard, probably, somewhere,
Yeah,
Yes.
He makes 2 of them pretend that they're playing the violin and then he runs away. I think that's worth $20. I have paid more for less.
There is an art to this that I think is maybe like often ignored. My pal Corey Atad kind of coined this concept of the 5-star, 3-star movie. And to me, that's what these movies are. Is like, no one would walk away saying, this is high art. But you'd say, I was engaged for 90 minutes and I feel great about life. And now I'm leaving and I'm going to go do something else with my time. And I think there's something about the Now You See Me movies that are, to me, the perfect 5-star, 3-star movies.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's a couple of things about it. One is that the movie doesn't actually employ that much CGI. It is a lot of like tangible set and tangible stuff that's happening. So I think it's a little more fun to watch than when you're watching like a Marvel where like it's all kind of fake. And I find that stuff kind of just eventually hard to look at with my eyeballs. Yeah. But the other thing about it is like, it's kind of pointless. Like the movie ends and then you leave and you're like, oh, I never have to think about that again. And that is a wonderful feeling too. I mean, I saw Begonia the same week that I saw this movie, and Begonia is like very rattling. Even if you didn't like it, you got to think about it for a while. Like it makes you ponder. This is a perfect movie for people whose brains, like mine, have no ridges and are perfectly round like a little egg. Don't I deserve that?
The smoother the brain, the more likely you are to enjoy these. And also, it's a nice mode.
No way for it to penetrate the egg, just smooth egg.
It's a nice mode to get into every once in a while, because if you want to turn off your brain, I think like me sitting in a movie theater for 2 hours watching this, I'm having a great time. I will say, that there was maybe a surprising cult following to these movies because the first two came out. I mean, the last Now You See Me 2, which should have been called Now You See Me, Now You Don't, was released in 2016. And for 9 years, there's a certain corner of the internet, mostly you, that has been begging for another one. There's been like, can we please get to another one? We now finally have a third one. Finally, they call this one Now You See Me, Now You Don't. There's a new troupe of magicians alongside the old magicians. Does the third one, I hesitate to ask the question like this, but does it work for you?
Yeah, it's so bad. So they waited to call the third one that because they were playing the long game and they knew that they were going to do this.
Yeah.
Because you know who loves stuff are people who love magic. We are an unrepresented minority. And so obviously these movies are going to do really well because they finally offer us a movie about not just like magicians. 4 of them, at least half are good looking. They definitely have sex. Magicians rarely get to be perceived as people who do anything interesting. They're stealing from people. Jesse Eisenberg's there, I guess.
Yes.
That's all very exciting for us. Obviously, we're going to watch it 10 to 15 times. I think I did something similar when the Kingsman movies came out because that felt at least magic adjacent. I'll take whatever I can get, man.
With these, okay, I'm glad you mentioned Jesse Eisenberg. So Jesse Eisenberg, Woody Harrelson, Isla Fisher, and Dave Franco, unlikely stars of these movies because
somebody at United Talent Agencies put a bunch of names in a hat and shook it, and then just took out 4 and
these
said,
guys, sure.
These guys. Yeah.
But then also Lizzie Kaplan gets added to the cast in the second one.
Sure.
She returns in this one. And then there's a whole 3 other new magicians that would get introduced, some of whom have been having a pretty good career in the last couple of years or so. And then they end up in this movie. What do you make of Dominic Sessa, Ariana Greenblatt, and Justice Smith, choosing this as the next turn in their career?
I don't see anything wrong with that, and I don't understand the line of this question, Elamin.
Which is to say, it's not going to impact their career at all.
Why would it? It's a perfect movie. They're going to make $11 million, and they learned how to put a scarf in a bowl, and then the scarf's gone. It's very exciting.
The reason I'm asking this is because Dominic Sessa gets, all kinds of applause for doing the holdovers with Paul Giamatti. Justice Smith, the reviews for I saw the TV Glow is like, oh my gosh, this is like a next generational star.
Yeah.
Ariana Greenblatt she did the Barbie movie. She could do literally anything. This was a surprise to me in terms of these 3 stars saying, sure, why not? I'll spend 3 to 6 months making this movie.
Yeah, it's true. But you know what movies I haven't seen are the ones you just listed, but I definitely saw this trilogy several times. So I think it's nice that they were in all those things that people liked. But as you know, that doesn't always pay the bills. And I think they should get $1 billion per minute that they appeared in any of these movies. They're perfect movies. They don't make any sense. And what I really love about the movies, Elamin, is that they explain to us every single thing that happened. I never have to think. I don't have to hope to try to understand it. Yeah. Half of the movie is just like an MC Escher painting. It's just people running around stairs. Like there's almost nothing happening. You could boil it down to like an 8-minute explainer, like a Vox explainer if you really wanted to.
In fact, I think the most comforting part of watching a Now You See Me movie is when you see a trick, you go, they'll explain it to me in 2 minutes. I can't wait for the explanation because my brain doesn't want to make sense of this and I would like them to do the work for me.
Yeah. Have you ever wanted to watch a movie that's just full of Chekhov's guns? It's just Chekhov's guns. Every scene, you're like, that's going to come back. Gun, and then boy, does it.
Immediately afterwards. You've mentioned the rewatchability of these movies. And I think like you're also someone who just like loves magic. I got like 30 seconds. I think people think of you as somewhat of a world-weary, jaded person sometimes. But magic
who thinks that?
Magic requires an optimism. You got 30 seconds to explain. Why do you like magic, Scaachi? Go.
Because I like it when people get tricked. Even me. I think it's fun. It's so fun. It's fun to have reality suspended for just a minute. And I think it's really funny when they saw the lady in half. That was always my favorite one. It's exciting. It's exciting to be taken out of reality. These movies do not make any sense. But you know what I love is that I don't have to think too long about the allegory around poverty. I'm tired.
So they are definitely making a 4th one of these movies. Scaachi, I assume that when they do make that movie, I will see you there. Is that the plan?
Yeah, you're going to buy me 60 tickets, all for me, all for the same day. I'm going to sit in every seat just to get the full experience. And no matter what, I will be seated next to you.
What I appreciate about this is the joy that you take in magic, and also the joy that you take in doing this to me. You know, like I'm trying to live my life, and then this is the energy you bring. Scaachi, as always, is delight the word? Is that the one we're going with?
I hope I get to saw you in half one day.
Scaachi Koul wrote about Now You See Me, Now You Don't for Slate. Despite my best efforts, she's a pal and a confidant. That movie is in theaters right now. My name is Elamin Abdelmahmoud. This show is called Commotion, and hey, we'll see you tomorrow.